How's it going, guys? I just wanted to clarify a few dates relating to being self employed and the self assessments. I made a video recently as a reminder for people to do their self assessments, and that related directly to the previous tax year, which is as it's stated here. The last tax year started on the 6th of April 2016 and ended on the 5th of April 2017. And because I started Deliveroo at some point in, I don't know when it was around May last year, that falls into this period of time. So I had to do a self assessment for the previous tax year and I had to pay tax on the previous tax year. So I've done my self assessment and I've paid my tax. That's squared away. But I think that it might be confusing a couple of people, and I wanted to clarify the difference between this tax year and next tax year and when you need to do things. If you started, now listen to this carefully, if you started after the 5th of April 2017, so if you started after that time, the deadlines which I have spoken about previously do not relate to you, unless of course you are self-employed in some other aspect that I'm not aware of. But if you are just being self-employed and just started with Deliveroo and that's your only self-employed income, or any income which is taxable that doesn't relate to PAYE, and PAYE is what is the tax that you will pay if you're employed. So if you worked in, I don't know, if you work for an agency or you're a postman or anything like that, then your employer will pay your tax for you. If you're a Deliveroo, then you are self-employed and you must pay your own tax, regardless of if this is your main income or your second income. If you make any money being self-employed, you have to pay tax on it. Of course, these are decisions which you need to make. I'm not telling you to pay tax. I'm just reminding you that if you're going to, then you need to do it within these deadlines. So, let's talk about if you started after the 5th of April 2017. These deadlines that you see here relate to this year, but they are going to be roughly or pretty much the same for the next tax year, which is what we are working in at the moment and will end on the 5th of April 2018. So it's a year extra. So it started on the 6th of April 2017 and finishes on the 5th of April 2018. So the deadline to register with HMRC as self-employed to be able to do online self-assessments is going to be approximately, because they haven't released this date yet, I am only assuming that it is roughly the same, it's going to be the 5th of October 2018, not 17, 18, because we are talking about tax year 2017-2018, which we are currently in. Forget about the paper returns because I don't think anybody does that. So if you started working after the 5th of April, if you started working on the 6th of April 2017 or after, your deadline to submit an online tax self-assessment is going to be midnight the 31st of January 2019. That seems like a long way away, and it is, but self-employed works a year behind, or a year in the future. So at the moment we're paying for last year. So that seems like a long time in the future, but that is the absolute deadline. You can pay before that. As long as it's after if it's the 6th of April 2018, so the next tax year, you can fill in your self-assessment, that will get approved, and then you can pay for it. You don't have to wait for the deadline. That is just the deadline. So as soon as we get to the 6th of April, the tax year that we are currently in at the moment finishes, and you can do your self-assessment and you can pay it. Nobody will do it that early, or it's very rare somebody will do it that early, but you can. These are just the deadlines. And I hope I haven't confused the issue even more. If you do have any questions, then I'll try and answer it. I'm sorry that this video has come across as quite condescending. I realise that when I talk quickly, sometimes either I make mistakes or I assume people know things. But if you have any other questions, then feel free to ask. Hopefully this hasn't been too confusing.